Welcome back to the Community Conversations live podcast. We are currently live within the We Are Always Better Than Yesterday Facebook community. If you are not part of our community yet, head over to Facebook. Come and join We Are Always Better Than Yesterday. It is 900 plus human beings from all around the world, all like-hearted in this idea of what it means to be better than yesterday through the power of being heart-centered leaders. And every month, Abbie and I, if you're watching on YouTube, you will see Abbie's face. If you're not, you'll hear her voice shortly. Abbie and I come together and we talk all things community conversations, what it is, how to build it, how to find it, how to be part of one. And yeah, we hope to share something with you in the next 15 minutes that maybe just creates a thought or a new perspective on how you can either find, belong, or create your own community. And I'm joined by Abbie, our community manager. Hi, Abbie.
Hi, how are you all? Hope you're wonderful. And we were just saying in the Facebook group, just a very happy spring equinox and New Year, Naw-Ruz to all of those that may celebrate. We're sending all of our beautiful New Year wishes and energy to you.
Naw-Ruz. Naw-Ruz. That's
Naw-Ruz.
Persian?
Persian New Year is called Naw-Ruz.
Yeah.
Yes.
Two little Persian kiddies.
Two little Persian kiddos. So I do my very best just to let them have some sort of attachment still to that sort of part of their heritage, because they are sort of quite distant from it, really, in a way. So yeah, this is just my little way of an offering to them, so that they still have an understanding of where they're from and what these celebrations signify. And again, it's this whole thing of bringing people together around
100%.
food, around a collective story or idea or celebration. So it's no wonder that I do choose to help them celebrate that.
We've talked in the past episodes around the importance of identity. You know, the identity. We are always better than yesterday. The clue is in the title, right? It's an identity piece, and with your little ones having the identity of having Persian heritage, so there's obviously an affinity to this kind of community. But then, I guess, how have they found it? How have they sought it out? Because one of the things we said at the very start was about how do we find communities to belong. So I've got the identity. Like, how has that been for you or your children to start to find where they belong in this multicultural world?
Yeah, so I suppose my intention behind it was that they were able, like you say, to pick up and develop and decide who they are through all these different things. And I myself wanted to learn a little bit about it so that I could obviously support them with it. The way I chose to do that initially was through the food. That was an easy in for me, getting them to understand, oh, this is Persian food, this is Persian cuisine, this is how we eat. And then I found storybooks and things like that I could read to them, obviously, when they were little. And then I found a community called Modern Persian Kitchen, who I've supported over the years. We've become like nice friends, and they produced these beautiful Naw-Ruz like packs that were kind of aimed a bit more towards the children to get them involved and get them hands on. And we'd have that come and we'd set up, it's called the half scene. We'd set up the half scene, which we've done again similarly this year. I just kind of got everything out and they set it up, and we spoke about the 7 different things again and what they mean and what they represent. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, I find it really important, because obviously I can easily talk about the things that I grew up with and the way I did things and why we did them. As well, when he's older and people are saying, oh, where's your name from, and da, 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 he can talk about it and he can have these things that he can relate to and share with other people and things as well, and hopefully just continue to pass on that knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? We all want a place to belong. We all want a place to root
Mm,
ourselves. I think there's something symbolic in our, we're born attached to another human being. I think there's
mm,
definitely something intuitive in belonging in close proximity to a group of people. And, I think that it's just testament to that whatever it is that's in your identity, whatever it is that you believe, what you represent, that you
mm,
like, you're passionate about, whatever that part of your identity is, there's
mm,
always going to be a community out there for you to be part of. And I think maybe sometimes that's the draw of cities, isn't it?
mm.
I'm not a big fan of cities. I'm a country boy, but with an increased population, you get the increased possibility of placing yourself in a
Mm.
community of like-minded, like-hearted people.
Yeah, I think that's the same with like with us with like going to the gym or going, I don't know, finding people to get when I go off singing and different things. There's all these little pockets of community everywhere that you can, and you can be a part of all of them if you want to be,
Well, it,
you're allowed to be the different expressions of you wherever you
yeah.
go,
So you don't need to be the only gay in the village,
You know,
Yeah.
you know,
Go to a city, or you can go to online. And I joke that's the Little Britain sketch for people that
yeah.
didn't get my reference, but yeah, it's powerful. I think we're supposed to find places of belonging, and I think isolation has shown in research to actually have a negative effect on our health and our well, let alone mental health, but physical health.
Mm, mm.
Increased stress levels, and we know all the things that increased stress brings.
Yeah, absolutely. I just find that, well, for me, by doing this for them, coming back to what we were just talking about, um, I believe it gives them then that opportunity if they wish to explore further, they can go do that. Or if they're happy and settled and comfortable with what they know, then they can go on and do this themselves when they're older.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
it's just like I'm just opening the door really
mm.
and letting them dip their toes, and then if they choose to do uh
But
more
there's
with
some
it.
wisdom there. There's some wisdom there,
Mm,
because the dipping the toes is not it bridges the intellectual to the physical, which means I don't have to just try and convince you that the water's fine, come and get in. You've actually dipped your
mm,
toe and like the water's fine, I'm getting
yeah,
in. And
yeah.
that's the power of, I think, experience. And I think that's the thing you help me facilitate here, is that we invite people to have an experience. We don't try
Mm,
and intellectually say, hey, community is important, come and be part of it.
mhm.
I think the invitation is, hey, come and experience it. And I think that's testament to dipping your toes in the water, shall we say.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
We're coming together as a community on Friday, the 22nd.
Second, yeah.
So this week. What are you observing about how our community meetups are evolving? We've been at the new location now. Will be the third time, will it, this time?
It'll be third time this time, which is wonderful. Um, One of the things I think that I've really noticed is, and whether this was a conscious thought or not initially in choosing now where we meet, but we already knew people that were helping to run the venue. And then as other members of our community have come in, they know them. And I just find that now, especially our kind of little web of connections is just kind of growing even more. Not necessarily everybody is a member of our community, but we are expanding, I guess, into the wider community, which is wonderful. And we're getting an opportunity to show everybody that shows up in that space on that day who we are and what we bring to the table, so to speak. Um, and it's nice everybody coming together for our community, but you see people breaking off and having other conversations. There's like a group of people having a meeting, then someone will come over and say hi and make sure that they're connecting, so that's really beautiful to me. I think that's really what we want from all of this, is just that everybody's going where they need to be and speaking to who they need to speak to, and the heart print is getting out there, I think. yeah, really nice. Everyone seems very relaxed in that space, I feel, as well, which is wonderful. And yeah, we've had some really good turnouts the last couple of times here as well. So yeah, I think we made a good decision to change things up a little bit. What would be wonderful if anybody listening who attends wants to give us any kind of thoughts on how things are going for them? That would be really cool, because obviously we're just basing this on our own sort of information and what we've seen and what we've witnessed. So yeah, it would be really cool to hear from other people as well. Because I think it's important for us as we grow as a community to understand that we are still providing the right spaces and the right kind of content, and we're showing up in a way that is still going to serve these people in the best way possible. That's ultimately what we're looking to do. And again, it's like you can see it, but more often you feel it, I think, when we're there. I think you and I especially have got to a good place where we're sort of talking about the art of listening and reading the room and figuring out those that are there, what they might need or may not need even in that time, and ensuring that they're kind of then having the right conversations with the right people, and or being left if that's what they need. It's yeah, it's just as important, I think, that we're listening and we're hearing from you as much as we're doing the talking.
Yeah, and I think listening is, Bob Berg, my mentor, he says sometimes you've got to listen with the back of your neck. And actually, sometimes that's feeling the room. It's reading the room. It's not just listening to the words that are said, but it's sometimes listening to the pauses, things that haven't been said, the body language, the seeing when people come in the room, and even just like, oh, they're like, where am I going? It's like, oh, you're one of us, like, or like connecting someone very intentionally with somebody else, like, oh, you're the so, it's just, I think there's a in the coaching world, particularly when you're going through qualifications as you are as well, is this there's an importance of these two words, rapport and trust, right? Rapport, I was told, is just means I like you or I am like you. That's a nice little way to think about the word rapport. I like you or I am like you. And I think if I'm thinking about our environment, I don't think we set out clinically to go, let's build rapport, let's build trust. But I think what happens is that that's been a byproduct of the environment that we've created. Obviously, wonderfully hosted by Storehouse Cafe. It's got a beautiful environment. But the people that we are, the people that we surround people with in that environment, good coffee, good conversation, really, it's what's that phrase? Be who you are. Come as you are. Be who you are. Right. And I think that that's both an intellectual statement, but also testament to the expression that we try and maintain. Be who we are. I think we've shown up good days, bad days, and different days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sharing of ourselves. You share and you experience each other, and then obviously the rapport and the trust is a byproduct. I think. Many community builders that are listening, particularly leaders in corporate organizations, they think, how do we build the trust and rapport with our people? You just give a shit. Like, go and create spaces to connect.
Show up. Like you just saying, whether you're having a good day, a great day, an indifferent day, a shit day, like you turn up. You turn up, because I think that in that people see the authenticity of you and what you really care about.
Well, there's some wisdom there. You just said the word care, and even some leaders will go, well, how do I care for people? Like, how do I just magic that up? I'm like, if you need help trying to care for people, you aren't paying attention. If you get in amongst people's lives, find out their hopes, their dreams, their fears, their insecurities, their worries, their flaws, I said, that is why this country loves an underdog. That's why we naturally root for the underdog, because we get a glimpse of their story, of their weakness, of the things that hold them back. If you're not wanting people to win, and if you're not caring for people, you're not paying close enough attention to the people that you're surrounded by.
100%. And that's where I think then like these kind of like golden conversations come about as well, because we're taking the time to listen and to ask questions.
Yeah.
And like you say, get to actually know the person or the people
Yeah.
that are there. And for me, that's again like, I mean, we've seen it so many times that people be having a conversation, they might even be crying, there'll be hugging going on, there'll be lots of like laughter,
Maybe babies
whatever.
being fed.
But yeah, babies being fed, having cuddles with babies to make you feel better, all sorts. But these are the this is like the gold for
It's
me.
like a
This is where
yeah.
like people
Huh.
do feel safe and do trust you, and that you're gonna provide them with something that they need at that time,
Mm.
and can feel comfortable enough to open up and share and be vulnerable and bring the joy and bring the energy. And
Mm.
yeah, it's just it's tricky to put into words, but there are
Well,
some of the words that I would use.
yeah, the image I was just given as you were speaking was that our community is like a petri dish of humanity, right? You take a little slice of it
Yeah,
and you put it under the microscope, you've got a petri dish of humanity.
all
And I
those.
think that's the goodness, the light, the dark, the good, the bad, the indifferent. And, a community makes space for all of that.
Yeah.
And that's not to say we literally go to therapy, but it's about nothing is rejected. Nothing is because, those communities that I think Claire put something out recently is good vibes only. Those communities, there's no such thing. You can't have a, single-sided magnet. There needs to be polarity. There needs to be dichotomy. There needs to be this light and dark. And for as long as we repel one, whatever we resist will come back stronger,
Yeah.
and that means that sometimes we have conversations, difficult, sensitive conversations that actually are bravely entertained, and hopefully a respectful community can disagree without being cancelled.
Mm.
Because oneness is not sameness.
Yeah.
Our oneness means that we have a commitment to understand the perspectives of other people, without trying to cut each other off, cancel each other. And because that's like me sitting on the end of a branch trying to cut the branch and realizing I'm going to be the one that falls. I
Yeah.
think I think
Yeah.
I'm hurting you and the tree, whereas actually I'm going to cause my own pain and suffering. I think
Yeah.
that's what we try and do here. This community in particular is to make space for the whole, which also makes space for the difficult, the sensitive, and
Mm.
hopefully navigated constructively. And I think good teams get better through conflict, not avoid conflict.
Yeah, well, that's the growth, isn't it? That we're all, I think, searching for. And it doesn't come from just sitting stagnant and not having the difficult conversations. I think that's definitely something that I've learned over the last few years for sure. If there is something that needs to be said, you've got to be brave enough to open up and talk about it, but also brave enough to sit and accept uh, the positive and negatives that may come back from that. And again, that's just, I think, like you're saying, being open to the oneness and the wholeness of it all. um yeah, well, we wouldn't function if we weren't functioning as one or as a whole. Then I think that's where the imbalance, or the bits that are missing, the holes appear. um yeah.
And resentment kicks in, and judgment,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
absolutely.
disunity. The opposite of
Yes. Yeah,
oneness is
yeah,
disunity and disconnection,
yeah,
separation.
yes.
And I
Yeah.
think that's the downfall of all good teams, isn't it? When division kicks in, when we are no longer we become I, and
Mm,
we become me. And I think that erosion of community, moving from a we perspective to a me perspective, becomes self-focused and becomes prideful, becomes becomes less than conducive, less than constructive, destructive, destabling. and I don't mind conflict so long as that we move together as one is always the byproduct and the result.
Yeah.
And when I say as one, it doesn't mean to say that you think what I think and I think what you think. It's
Hmm.
to say that we move regardless of each other's views and opinions.
Understanding, isn't it? It's an understanding, and we go on to do the best thing for everybody, I guess.
Mm,
And again, like you say, it might look different for you, might look different for me, but you know, always forward,
yeah.
always as one.
Yeah. Anything more to say on that topic?
No, I'm good on that one. But yeah, I'd love for those that are in attendance or have attended to let us know how they feel when they come into that space.
One of the things that we do here at We Spoke Yesterday is life languages. And you and I both have a high responder language. And the responder language. So if you want to get your free life language mini profile, head to abty.co.uk/gift. You get your free first mini profile. It'll give you your lead language. That's abty.co.uk/gift, GIFT. And what that will give you is your lead language. And for Abby and I, we lead with the responder language, which is a compassionate, passionate, really at the heart of the responder is that we care. The responder needs to feel accepted, heard, and understood. The responder loves nothing more than to please and to protect people, and their character strength is compassionate, right? And
Yeah.
and in more detail in the profile, it says that the responder is a very much relational language, emotive, relational to the one in front specifically, and the responder language is the one who is going to pick up on the one person in the room suffering. There can be a whole room of people, yet the responder will intuitively pick on or pick up on someone who is suffering. There's something about the intuition, the ability to read nonverbal cues, whatever it might be. The responder just has an awareness. Abby, I wonder if I've put you on the spot here, but I wonder whether you can reflect on what gets your spidey sense going for someone that might be suffering and just in need of a bit of to be held, to be heard, to be hugged.
Mm, yeah. I think, like you say, it can be something that actually turns out that it's something that I need. Does that make sense?
Yeah, keep going.
So I might notice someone, the way someone's standing, or the way they're particularly, if they're not particularly making eye contact or something like that. And then I would generally get a feeling, whether it was a tingle or in something in my tummy or whatever, that would make me think, oh, something's not quite right. And that then in me, my thoughts or my body goes, oh, what do I need? Maybe that person needs that.
Mm.
I would try and go talk to them, say, hey, do you need a hug today? And then and often through that it's actually helping me as well. I'm actually needing something that they need or can give to me as well. It's
Well,
yeah.
it's the flower and the bee kind of analogy as well, isn't it?
Mm,
It's the flower and the bee. It's
mm,
the I have something that you need, and and in giving
mm.
it to you, I wonderfully receive back whatever
Yeah,
was.
there's some, and then sometimes that leads to a conversation where I'm listening to that person and of course they'll bring up a topic or something that might
Mm.
even be something that I was sort of thinking about or having to deal with or something like that. So that can often be the case, and then I can offer my own then experience and thoughts back and hopefully help that person out a little bit. Yeah, so I often find there's usually a connection through what they need as well somehow. And I think that's why then certain people link up and have conversations, because they've both experienced the same thing or they've had experience of the same thing, and it's then they can offer something to that person that will help them.
And depending on where you're at, some people
Mm,
go, "Oh, that's nice, that's lovely, that's like a lovely thing. That's just what we do."
yeah.
And then some people go, "I was meant to be here today." Like that's
Yeah,
happened on many
that's so
occasions.
many times, so many times.
So yeah, once you start to transcend the literal and you get into the metaphysical, so many people have left that going, I was meant to be here today. I was meant to have this conversation with these people in this room. For whatever reason will continue to be revealed.
Yeah.
But I just know that I was meant to be here today.
Mm.
Which is a wonderful sign that you're listening and you're trusting to the signs of the universe around you.
Yeah, that's again, so that's like trusting yourself as well as trusting everyone else there around you.
Sometimes that's like, I've got a message for you. I'm going to trust myself to say it because I care about you. And hey, have you thought about, or hey, have you spoken, or hey, have you heard about this, or I've thought about this, and people go, no way.
Yeah.
No. Oh my, look at the face
There
that's
we
about
go.
to join us.
Hey,
Oh my, there he is. There he is.
how
Hey,
are
JD.
you?
Oh, he's muted. Why can't we hear you?
In an airport.
There we go. Yes, I'm in LaGuardia Airport, getting ready to board a flight to Boston.
Nice.
Well, safe travels, my brother. It's amazing to see your face. Just so you know, we are live and this is recorded. It will be future published on a podcast. I trust that is okay with you.
100% okay. I saw you guys were live and I thought, what a better time to hop on than right now.
Man, grateful. And I know that wonderful, magical things happen with you at airports. Jonathan, why do people cry in your presence? Why do you always have these moments in airports?
Yeah, I seem to be one of the only people that I know that gets hugged at almost every airport that I'm at. And I think it's just, well, it's because I'm very present and aware of the people around me, and you know, I engage with the people around me, and God's given me this ability to be able to allow people to open up and share their stories, and I get to just love on them, man, and it's one of my favorite things that to happen when I travel.
Family well?
Family's incredible. We went on a short holiday
Yes.
last week and really enjoyed that. And they're back in school this week, and softball starts this weekend, and you know it's exciting times.
8th of April, Team Hartley land in Florida. Will be closer to you than we've ever been. Like, yeah, like I could sense you're gonna go back there, right? You're coming back to Florida.
The 8th.
The 8th,
How
yeah,
long,
for 10 days.
How long are you there for?
10 days.
I'm coming to Florida to see you.
Oh,
Let's go.
I am coming to Fort. Where are you going to be?
Orlando.
I have customers in Orlando I can come see. I am coming to Florida, and I'm going to get a hug you for the first time in like 7 years.
Oh, that's insane.
And his face has changed. He's like deadly serious. Look at his face.
Someone
yeah.
has to record that moment.
He's walking to the desk now. He's like, ma'am, give me a ticket.
As soon as I get off here, I am getting on my calendar and I am finding the days.
Jonathan, I have a question which will help to kind of wrap this up. So, hang on, I just want to make sure I word this quickly. What is it that first drew you to this community? So it's kind of part A. And then B, what has got you so excited about meeting Ryan now in person?
Now I'm the person about to cry at the airport. Ryan's heart. Period. It's I don't think that I could adequately communicate it any clearer or better than that. And man, you know, to know somebody for so long and to be so close relationally, but proximity, very, very far away, and never getting that opportunity to just like hug them and be like, man, I love you. Thank you for being who you are in my life. And so honored to have you as a part of my life that I've looked forward to that day with Ryan from the very beginning.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, you're on my heart, brother. We haven't spoken enough recently, and I'm looking forward to that, man. I look forward to it. Let's continue this conversation in a bit. But damn you, Abbie, for asking that question.
That's what I'm here for.
Bethan's in the comments saying, "Can I find a client in Florida and
I
come
know.
too?"
I know. We all want to come to Florida now.
Yeah.
We all want to
ABTY Summit. Yeah. This was the shortest arranged summit we've ever had. And Anne's joining, so we're gonna meet. We're gonna hold space for Anne. We're gonna say hello because Anne's in Canada right now, so we're gonna say hello to Anne, and then we'll wrap up in a second. But
I've got a board. I
okay,
love you
JD,
guys.
good to see you, brother.
See you soon.
See ya. Bye.
Yeah, bro, love you. Anne, great to see you.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very well. How is Canada treating you?
Oh, marvellous. We've had a really mild winter by comparison to what you normally see, where it's like 4 foot of snow and everything else. We had like nothing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, you look very well.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. I mean, I've been luckily I've been able to find a job, so that's always a positive.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good. Starting to settle in, find people.
Yeah, quick question for you then. How have you integrated into community in Canada?
Well, it's a bit, as you can imagine, moving to a new town or a new city at any point in your life, just in the UK, is one thing. But moving to a whole other country, it's handier when you've got kids.
Yeah.
Because you can meet the parents.
Yeah.
But no, in general, it's been quite good. I've been quite lucky. I work in retail now, so I work at a well-known shoe retailer.
Yeah.
So I see people quite regularly on a daily basis, pretty much, and I'm working all the hours of every day, some days it feels like. But I've met so many different people from so many different places, and ironically in the last 6 weeks I've met 2 people from Swindon and 1 person from Chippenham. So
gosh.
and they've been here for years and still sound British.
For context, that's like half an hour up the road from where we live.
Yeah. Amazing.
So it's hilarious.
Oh, I'm pleased to hear that.
Well, we're wrapping up. We're gonna stop the live stream and we'll stay along for a conversation for 5 minutes. So we're just gonna wrap up the live stream. Abbie, got any final words, comments for the podcast?
No, it's just been fab to have these beautiful faces come and join us here at the last minute, and to have these other contributions as to what community is and means. So thank you for that, and thank you for listening today. And if you are local to us, we'd love to see you on Friday for coffee at 9:30.
Peace out. Next time. Bye bye.